Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lena and I'd like to talk to you about the books I have read in February. First, it was The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald. I've heard about this book from the professor who taught me the theory of translation. It was one of his favorite books of all time. I read it first time 4 or 5 years ago and I didn't like it. And now I understand why. The prose is beautiful. You cannot see the effort behind it. It flows easily, it's very light. I like it. But there are three main female characters, and not one of them is likable. First, Daisy Buchanan. She doesn't tell a single intellectual thing throughout the entire book. My friend pointed out to me that we ourselves didn't have this intellectual conversation on daily basis, but we exchanged opinions, we gave advice, we were involved in things we talk about. She uh, just did small talk. I'm not sure whether she hid behind it or whether she is stupid. I think that she is likely than not to be stupid. Then uh, Jordan Baker. She is independent, she is daring, but she is a compulsive liar. She lies even in the situation when it's not necessary, when she doesn't gain anything by it. The line is natural to her. And then Myrtle Wilson, the woman who married a man because she thought he was a gentleman. The woman who cheated on her husband with a person who looked like a gentleman but who wasn't a gentleman. I think she's shallow and vulgar. I feel for them. I feel sorry for her. She doesn't want to live in conditions she is living. But I don't like her. At first, I had this impression that women had very loud voice, very big mouth, and nothing to say. And at first, I was a little angry with Scott Fitzgerald. I thought that he didn't think much about women, that he was disappointed in women. But then I understood that he was disappointed in his entire generation because I didn't like male characters as well. Even Gatsby, who is a self-made man, who isn't corrupted by money, who keeps loving his Daisy, and this feeling makes him almost noble, but I still didn't like him because he isn't able to see her for what she is. I think Fitzgerald very well pictures the time for us, the 1925, The world building was more than okay. Uh, the characters is very well written, although they are not likable. In my opinion, the world is very well developed. The storytelling is beyond reproach. He is a very good storyteller. But I still don't like this book. Although for me, this book is about human need to be accepted in the society, human need to love and be loved, about an ability to let go of your dream, about an ability to move on. But I still don't like this book. Then I've read Station 11 by Hilary. Oh, I'm sorry, by Emily St. John Mandel. I have a separate video on this book. I've read it with the Goodreads book club. Are we not entertained? All in all, I liked this book, although I had some problem with world building. I didn't like certain points. It's 20 years after Georgian flu killed off 99.99% of the entire population on Earth. Somewhere in Canada, a group of people, a theater troupe, and an orchestra called the Traveling Symphony travels from town to town performing Shakespeare because survival is insufficient. They meet different people. They meet good people, they meet bad people, they meet people that are trying to use ideas, beliefs, and weapons to control other people. But this book, it's not about a fight good against evil. It's not about the world after apocalypse. It's more about the world before apocalypse and how different people from different places can be related to each other. The story was very interesting. The book was easy, entertaining read. And if you have nothing better to do, if you have free time, I advise you to read it. Then I read my first Steinbeck, The East of Eden. And it has an introduction by David Wyatt. And I read the introduction first. And while I was reading it, I thought, oh my god, it's the wrong book. I won't be able to like it, and I would have to tell Valentina Lectito in Spain that I didn't like it. But as soon as I started it, I loved it. The writing style is beautiful, it's very enjoyable. So, this book was some sort of exploration into biblical story of Cain and Abel. The story when one brother kills another brother out of jealousy, when God is not pleased by his sacrifice and prefers the sacrifice of his brother. And also some sort of exploration into first scene. First, Steinbeck wrote this novel after his second divorce with his wife Gwen, I think. And this divorce made such an impression on him that he saw men as passive and women as evil, angry, unfaithful, and manipulative. So in this book, we follow two different families. One of them, the Hamiltons. They are of Irish descendants and they're very poor and they have nine children. And they all are my darlings. I enjoyed all those little stories. I even loved Lisa. I especially enjoyed the stories inside the story about Olive Hamilton, Olive Steinbeck by marriage, who won a ride in the airplane. And I enjoyed another little story about the Trusks this time when they were trying to learn how to drive an automobile. I loved it. I think Steinbeck has a very good sense of humor, but in this book, for me at least, he was trying to prove his point, and that's why the story about the Trask family is very controlled. There is a big difference in the way he describes the Hamiltons and the Trusks. The Hamiltons are much easier, much more enjoyable. The Trusks he uses to prove his point, and I wish he didn't do it. Uh, well, first he tells us a story about Charles Trask and Adam Trusks. And then he tells us a story about Adam's children, Caleb and Aaron. And I do not understand how Adam, who knew what can happen in a family when a child knows yet that he is not loved, that his sibling is his father's favorite. How could he to praise one son more than another? I cannot understand it. But anyway, I had one problem with an evil woman with the demon, Casey Ames. To accept her, I had to label her a psychopath, and I cannot understand how she could change to the end of the book to become a little bit more human. I don't understand it because the way of life she was leading couldn't change her in that way. I enjoyed this book very, very much, and I certainly want to read more Steinbeck, and I want to read more of this Scott Fitzgerald. I want to see his other characters. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.